Eugene Ysaye, called the King of the Violin, and sometimes simply the Czar, was born in 1858 on the 16th of July in Liège, Belgium. As a toddler, he began lessons on the violin with his father, a theater conductor. His father's teachings were considered to be by Ysaye the foundation for everything he would ever know in playing the violin. At the age of 7, he went to study at the Liège Conservatoire, finding himself in the pupillage of Désiré Heinberg. Here he remained until 1869, when he left after a dispute with Heinberg over his lack of progress. Ysaye, unlike Mozart, was not such a young prodigy. Following his leave of Liège, Ysaye toured with his father, playing in the orchestras he conducted. In 1872, Ysaye was readmitted to the Liège Conservatory under the guidance of Rodolphe Mozart, and graduated in 1874 with much distinction.
Violin legend Henri Violin, walking in the street, overheard Ysaye practicing in a basement and was so impressed that he arranged for Ysaye to become a student of Henryk Wieniawski in Brussels. Ysaye later studied with Violin himself in Paris from 1876 to 1879, and the two grew an everlasting friendship. In the final years of his life, Violin invited Ysaye to visit him in the countryside and play for him.
After Paris, Ysaye became the concertmaster of Benjamin Bils's Beer Hall Orchestra in Berlin, with which he toured across Northern Europe and Russia until 1882. Ysaye returned to Paris in 1883, where he met bigwig composers of old and new, including César Franck, Camille Saint-Saëns, Ernest Chausson, Gabriel Fauré, Vincent d'Indy, and Claude Debussy. When Franck later wrote his sonata for piano and violin in A major, he dedicated it as a wedding present to Ysaye when he married Louise Bourdeau on September 26, 1886. It was, however, not made famous until Ysaye himself played it in his own style.
Soon after his marriage, Ysaye, along with Crickboom, Leon van Hout, and Joseph Jacob, started the Ysaye Quartet, the first group to premiere close friend Claude Debussy's string quartet. Into the 1890s, he continued to tour and was met with enthusiasm and acclaim wherever he went, be it England in 1889 or his American debut with the New York Philharmonic in 1894, playing the Beethoven Violin Concerto. That same year, he began his conducting career and established the Société de Concert Ysaye in Brussels. Things were looking very good.
However, World War I came along. Ysaye reluctantly fled to London when the Germans invaded Belgium in 1914 and remained there throughout the war. In 1918, he conducted the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra and did so well that he became the permanent conductor of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, a position that he would hold until 1922 when he returned to Belgium to reclaim his Société de Concert Ysaye. When his first wife passed away in 1927, he married Jeanette Dinson, an American student of his who happened to be 44 years younger than he.
Ysaye was a diabetic who was alive during a time when it was particularly unfortunate to be a diabetic. His diabetes was so devastating that he required his left foot to be amputated. He died in 1931 of diabetes and is buried in the Ysaye Cemetery in Brussels.
Ysaye's sound was among the most beautiful and expressive of any violinist who ever had lived. His style has been described as heroic, and his masterful use of tempo rubato, coupled with his ingenious manner of interpreting not just late Romantic and early modern composers, but notably Bach and Beethoven, lends credence to his undisputed greatness. Of his rubato, conductor Sir Henry Wood said, "Whenever he stole from one note, he faithfully paid it back within 4 bars, a special touch that Chopin is also famous for." Of his intonation, and really of his technical precision, Spanish cellist Pablo Casals said that, prior to Ysaye, he had never heard a violinist play in tune. All this being said, it's no wonder that an international violin competition was created in memory of Ysaye, a competition that in 1951 became the violin section of the Queen Elizabeth Music Competition.
A symbolic synopsis of Ysaye's style can be understood in a musical epigram of his. Don't always vibrate, but always be vibrating. Indeed, his self-proclaimed modus operandi with regard to playing was simply nothing which wouldn't have for goal emotion, poetry, art.